Well, Grace, I've been wheeling and dealing so long today in the studio that I forgot I have not even ate. But that's okay. Why is that okay? Because the Brilliantly Dumb Show is presented to you by Postmates. For a limited time, Postmates is giving our listeners $100 of free delivery credit for your first 7 days using promo code BROBIBLE. $100 of free delivery credit with Postmates. Download that app now. Anything you need, anytime you need it, Postmate it. See, Grace, that's the beauty of a cookie. A lot of times with these cookies, you don't know if they're going to travel well. So if you get what I'm saying here, Chick-fil-A cookie, I'm getting the same cookie if I go in and dine in that I am delivery. On the other end of that, though, if you don't have a cookie that travels well, you'll never be successful in the cookie game. Especially nowadays, because you really can't go out to restaurants or anything. So you got to really thrive in well-traveled food, especially cookies. This is a phenomenally well-traveled cookie. Great. I'm sorry. Let's start this show. Hey, folks! Coming to you live here on the Brilliantly Dumb Show. You just interrupted my cookie there. I'm going to go ahead and swallow this before we do our intro there. Down the hatch we go there, folks. How are you today? I'm Big Game Bob. That's Grace Ibrahim on the ones and twos. We're ready to rock and roll here on the Brilliantly Dumb Show. Folks, before we get into anything at all, let me remind you to please not fuck with the sun. That's what Bobby did, and look at this Huntington Beach friggin' okay, right after, guys, take it right from, that's what Bobby did. Ready, set, go. Look what the Huntington Beach Sun did to Bobby. For those of you not on the YouTube right now, look at that. Middle grade. I look like a middle linebacker that if University of Miami football, they would never wear their jerseys all the way down. It's just red for those of you folks listening right now. It's just red on one side, beet red is sunburn. Total opposite side, just pale as can be. We got a lot going on here. 1-0 Sun in his match against myself. Folks, we're going to do things a little bit differently here today. For those of you who don't know, the Blackout Tuesday, we felt definitely, don't post a podcast right now with, the blackout going, crazy times going on in this world right now. Scary times, to be quite frank. But it didn't feel right coming on here. And, the whole goal of the show is to take you away from your real life, take you away from current events, politics, and all of that. And, kind of let you drift off and have some fun for the laughs. It didn't feel right doing that this week. I am going to address what's going on in the world right now. And that's what I mean when I say we're going to do things a little bit differently. Friday, we're back to the laughs. We're back to the audio. But I did feel the need to speak on this and everything going on with the riots around the world. I've been staying in Huntington Beach. By the way, the best spot just to get away from things in the planet, the best people to just get away from with are these Huntington Beach folks. They're like full Cali, bro, like times 10, like what you see in the movie. These guys have no idea what time of the day it is. Every time you see somebody in the community, they're either just look stoned or like they just woke up. It'll be like 7 p.m. and somebody will just kind of be rolling out with their, right after I say rolling out, ready, set, go. With their Hurley surfboards. I mean, it was a good getaway. Like I said, the riots going on in LA. Look, what I want to say, and going on around the world right now, it's madness. It's chaos. I have recorded this so much because I don't know. It's hard for me to even wrap my head around. There's just so much to take in and kind of wrap your head around. And I had to say something about it. And here's what scares me on what's going on in the world today. What bothers me. We can't let what's going on have anything to do or let ourselves believe it has anything to do with politics, because it doesn't. This has nothing to do with politics. what this has to do with is a race and a color that's been discriminated against for years and years and years that are trying to live equal as they should. That's what it is. And now it's looking at and saying, how do we prevent police brutality? Because it's been going on. And there's times where we think we got it down and we don't. But this has nothing to do with politics, because if it does get about politics, you know how much harder it's going to be for the world to try and find common ground and get this figured out if we're worrying about politics and looking at it at that angle. Just because somebody in the Black Lives Matter program, that doesn't make them right or left. They're protesting for equality. Why are we making that about politics? That's what concerns me. And what I'm guilty of, like when this was all going on, you know, I kept saying, like, I understand why they're upset. I understand. But in reality, the more I think about it, I really don't. Because I don't know. I grew up in the suburbs of New Jersey, so I didn't have to fear, you know, I didn't fear police. So I can't level, you know, with somebody who has. It's a totally different feel. Now, I absolutely sympathize with it, but it's hard to really understand if you don't go through it. Um, you know, and that's why I think it's good to ask questions. I'll give you an example. This guy used to work with him. He was the guest services manager at the Beverly Wilshire. I was the assistant guest services manager, and we kind of went up the ranks together. And I would call him D. Willie Smooth. His name was Derek Williams, but this was a smooth customer. He would work the Four Seasons. He knew how to walk the walk, talk the talk, swagger through the roof. Young black kid, the ladies just loved him. So I started calling him D. Willie Smooth. We ended up working together, so we were in control of a couple departments in the hotel. So I would spend hours upon hours with him. And a lot of times, you know, we were just dicking around in the back office, just shooting the shit. You know, if it was a slow day, sorry, but it's true. Um, you know, so we would talk, and he had a total different background and upbringing than me. But I would always pick his brain, and he would pick mine, vice versa. So it helped me to kind of understand, you know, shit he had to go through. And on his end, you know, he would pick my brain about different things that I had to encounter, for better or for worse. So we would always pick each other's brain, and we got along so well, but we were able to appreciate one another. And for example, he would point out some things that I didn't necessarily see till he would point it out, like, you know, different types of racism, even at the hotel that he faces. For example, and I've seen it a couple times. After he's mentioned it to me, I looked and I'm like, holy shit, you know? Yeah, it absolutely still goes on. It was eye-opening to me. For example, guests would come down, and if they'd get upset, say their car got crashed into or something, you know, at the hotel, they wanted a manager to yell at, they wouldn't want to go to him, although he was the guest services manager, a couple of them. They wouldn't give him the time of day. So, like, it was, you know, it was stuff like that. And again, shout out to Willie Smooth that, you know, made things very eye-opening to me. And just like, you know, what pains me too is there's so many good police officers out there. Just great ones. Go out, risk their life every day. They do a routine traffic stop. They don't know what they're about to walk into. You know, they always got to have their head on a swivel. And there's some bad ones, as we found out. I mean, this guy's a criminal. This guy should go to jail for the rest of his life. And there's bad ones. And because of guys like that, unfortunately, that's now how a lot of them get labeled. And same thing with the people that are going out and protesting and doing it the right way compared to the ones that are looting. You know, most of the protesters out there are good protesters trying to make a difference. There's nothing wrong with that. But now they get labeled as a whole. Same thing with police. So it's just, it's sad. And I really hope we could just get this figured out. I don't have the answers. I wish I did. You know, not that, you know, the host of the Brilliantly Dumb show is going to be the one to find the answer. But I don't know. I think there's different things you can do, and we got to be more aware. But I just hope we can get moving on this, and I hope we can really figure out a way to make it for the better so that this doesn't continue to happen time and time again. The video's hard to watch. I can't watch the video. It's terrible. So it's just a fucked up place right now, and there's ways to make it better, and we got to do that. But don't make it about politics, guys. No matter what side you're, it doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with that. It's about finding a damn answer. On a whole other side of things that we're not really talking about right now, what the hell happened to Corona? There is like no regard for it anymore. I mean, I got news for you. There's just too much to take in right now. We'll overcome it. We'll come through it and find the answer. Now, folks, I had to get that out. Right after I said had to get that out. Ready, set, go. However, we are coming back with the laughs, back to your regular scheduled programs. Friday on the Brilliantly Dumb Show, the audio, we keep the comedy flowing. We have some fun. Grace Ibrahim behind the glass on the ones and twos. Big Game Bob on your local airwaves, however you're listening, whyever you're listening. We're just happy you are listening to the Brilliantly Dumb Show. Folks, we will see you Friday. I'm going to bring it. Have a day, have a week. Stay safe.